Yo, what's going on, guys? Starting out my morning strong right now by double fisting some coffees. Got me a black coffee and I got me an espresso coffee. I have a feeling that my shitter's not really going to be too happy with me here in about 30 minutes, but I wanted to crank out a video first, so let's get into it. I kind of wanted to go into some thoughts about just video games. I really haven't been playing video games that lately, just mainly due to life being busy as shit. I have work, the gym, home responsibilities, just a wide spectrum of adult shit to take care of, just like you guys if you're watching this. I will say this, I am lucky that this is all I really have to deal with on the day-to-day basis, and I'm not stuck wage slaving away at some dead-end job for around 13 hours a day, because I know that there's some people out there that are having to deal with that shit, and it's horrible. But I will say, part of me wishes I can get some more gaming time in, get back into those Call of Duty lobbies and start calling everybody slurs. Feels like the only time I really have to play video games nowadays when I'm recording a video. And don't get me wrong, I love playing these old Call of Duty games for you guys here on the YouTube channel, but it's not exactly what I'd be playing in my free time. I just wanted to rip these old Call of Duties for that 2015 nostalgic commentary style that I loved so much back in the day. It seems like as I grow older, the games that I kind of revolve around nowadays are single player games. Anything from Software like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, to games like The Witcher and Cyberpunk. It really feels like the older I get, the more that these single player games pique my interest. I used to be a tryhard in the PvP games like Halo, Fortnite, Valorant, and much more. But nowadays, I just prefer not to smell like BO from sweating so much in those games. Actually, I could blame it on the BO, but in reality, it's just my reaction time turning into that of a newborn fly. But I will say there is one game that I've been dropping my balls into lately, that being Arc Raiders. Feels like everybody and their mother, their mother's mother, their mother's mother's great cousin has been playing Arc Raiders lately. It's a pretty great game actually if you haven't played it. I have had my fair share of funny moments on that game to say the least. Multiplayer games, single player games, it doesn't really matter. That's not really what I wanted to touch on today. I wanted to touch on, I guess, just more of what gaming looks like in your 20s and just everything kind of leading up to it. The more I get older, the more I start to realize that all those things that our parents said about video games were just made up lies and bullshit. Things like wasting your time, you should go outside and play a sport, or even in some rare but funny situations, blame the video game for their bad parenting. Like when little Timmy seems a little bit too aggressive towards the kids at school, maybe we should take away his Fortnite. Shit like that, you know what I mean? They really wanted us to believe that if we were to be playing video games into our adult years, that we were going to be turning into these turbo losers, that we were going to be neglecting what life was all about. But instead of believing in that shit, here we are, and I'm starting to realize that video games were never a problem. Actually, in fact, they were a good place to escape to block out the noise from the outside world. They were truly a thing that our parents never could quite understand because they just never had these video games in their life. And on top of that, they host quite a few benefits that you may not realize. Now, I've stated this in a previous video. I think that we can use gaming for good reasons and bad reasons alike. I think that the good definitely outweighs the bad in this situation. Mainly, I think the bad stems from using it as a shield to protect yourself from preventable events in your life, if that makes sense. Like the bad habits that you can control, like, obesity, laziness, loneliness, etc. I know that these all sound like stereotypes, and to some extent, yeah, they are. But I'd be lying to you if I haven't seen people actually go down this route because of video games. World of Warcraft, League of Legends, do I need to say more? Jokes aside, some people can get so obsessed with these games, these grindy games, that they lose a sense of reality, and most of the time it's not in a good and healthy way. And if you're a person that has fallen into this category of being, I guess, a grindy loser on these video games, then maybe drop the game, man, because these things are cucking your ability to resolve these bad issues. Especially if these issues carry over or are in your 20s, I guess you could say, into your adult years. Your 20s, your early adult years, whatever you want to call them, they are so pivotal in your life, it's unreal. I wouldn't say it's a time to necessarily have everything figured out. Like, you don't need to be married, have a fucking job, have a house. I mean, shit, people aren't even going to be able to buy houses until they're 40, which I made a video about, so go check that out if you're interested in that. But these preventable bad habits that I'm talking about, these are the things that you want to kind of key in on. You want to just avoid these things. You want to overcome these things. So if video games are cock blocking you from actually doing these things, then you probably need to cut back or just get off them in general. And I really feel like these problems are being boosted to the fucking stratosphere because I feel like with how grindy games are nowadays, this can really boost these bad habits and people keeping them locked in for longer, giving them, I hate to say it, meaningless gratification in a game when they are not getting it in real life. Now, I'm not just throwing shit at the wall. I mean, I was one of these people that wasn't getting any gratification in real life, so I had to resort to the game. For example, I have around 10,000 hours in a game that we call Halo Reach. You may have heard of it, you may have not. It's like 16 years old nowadays. God damn, I'm getting old. But I kept playing this game because it would give me a constant dopamine and gratification hit that I wasn't getting in real life. I wasn't exactly an elite specimen in high school, middle school, really any of that. I wasn't a chick magnet to say the least. I was just a dude who was kind of ugly, who was just locked in on Halo and nothing else. Now, luckily for me, by the grace of God himself, I got out of this habit because looking back, I felt like a complete loser. And I was a complete loser, I'm not gonna lie to you. To say I wasn't handling anything that I needed to in life was a complete understatement. I mean, I did not do anything to better my future. My grades were sucking harder than Riley Reid does. There were no girls to be found. It was like I was in the Sahara Desert searching for the oasis, but the oasis was pussy, and I just couldn't find it. There was nothing there. And insecurities rose and they thrived, and all I did was hide behind the game 6 to 8 hours a day, fucking around with my friends online in party chat. But I do think video games can be used in a beneficial way. Now, I'm going to be talking from experience here, so leave a comment down below on how video games have helped you personally. I would love to hear it. Now, I think the big thing I want to start off with is the plague that's been running faster than Usain Bolt through our society. That being this wave of social media that has been hitting us for the better part of the last decade. I swear this is the type of shit that you see on a Black Mirror episode. I remember I was in the gym the other day and I typically try to dodge my phone when I'm in there unless I'm changing the music. But I remember just looking around to see a wave of people just brain rotting on their phones. It's like their attention span just got up and walked out of the building, just leaving them behind. I swear to God, the amount of awareness going on in that building that day was next to none. But that's just society in a nutshell nowadays. It's really sad to see, and it's not only at the gym. People are brain rotting when they wake up, at work, at home, while watching TV. There are kids brain rotting on the iPad. You get it. It's all just short form shit, frying your dopamine. And I found a good way personally to get away from all this noise, and that's just to pick up a video game and play it. Video games are the perfect combatant towards this. You actually need to interact with it, which in this hive mind ass society where everybody's just scrolling on their phones, consuming short form content, this is so warranted and it's so needed. Now, I don't really care what flavor of game you pick. It could be YY slide canceling in Call of Duty Warzone 3 or whatever the fuck they're on now, or fucking hot chicks in The Witcher 3. It doesn't really matter. The fact is that you are interacting with what you are actually doing in the game. You are fully comprehending every single action, every single movement that you're doing, and that's what's important. I feel like doing this can really ground you and calm your ADHD down, which, by the way, everybody has nowadays. I wonder why. It couldn't be the short form content that everybody's consuming, could it? I don't know. It really makes you stop and think about what you're doing in the here and now rather than worrying about the later, which society has a problem with doing that, including myself. Playing video games also typically gives you longer interactions with things, unlike, the brain rot, stop the slop, you know what I mean? Take a game, say like Arc Raiders. Those are 30-minute rounds at max, and if you've played that game, sometimes you're getting out of dodge with only seconds left. Now, I don't know about you, but I sure as shit will remember that 30-minute round a lot more than I would scrolling through Gooner Graham, which, by the way, I wouldn't even remember what I just scrolled through for 30 minutes on Gooner Graham. Speaking of Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, whatever doom scrolling app you pick, it doesn't really matter. These apps have been historically connected with a lot of mental issues that we see in today's age. So I feel like the sooner we can get off those apps and replace it with a hobby such as gaming, that can lead to a much happier and healthy lifestyle in some aspects. And honestly, this can make you really appreciate gaming a whole lot more as well. Going back to the comment that I made earlier about grounding yourself, when was the last time you truly did that? Or better question, when was the last time that was a normal thing for you? Being in your 20s is hard, man. It seems like the noise keeps getting louder and louder as we grow older. Like, oh, job here. Oh, responsibilities there. Oh, can't forget about the unexpected bullshit in front of you. It's really exhausting being an adult, I swear to God, especially in today's age with everything going on. I feel like I'm constantly running around, my head chopped off, worrying about the future while simultaneously worrying about the things in the present. And in the rubble of all of the chaos in the world, I feel like gaming is one of the only things left that we can just say, pause. Something that we could just literally pause real life with, for better or for worse. I mean, obviously, like I said, do it for the better, not the worse. But it's one of those things that can save us from the unexpected rowdiness that is life. Which is what I use gaming for in today's age. I use it as that emergency brake whenever I get the chance to use it. And again, if we're using this in a very good and healthy manner, then this can be a very beneficial thing. It will allow you to ground yourself, like I said earlier, and just appreciate what the game has to offer. It will shove all of those life things out of the way for a little bit. The next point I wanted to sack tap with is the positive benefit towards cognitive functions. Things like hand-eye coordination, reaction, problem solving, and attention, and plenty more. Attention being the big one here, because like I said earlier, society has a little bit of an attention drought, so any attention boosting methods that we can get, we should take them. Video games have led to an abundance of positive mental health boosts, such as higher activity in brain regions tied to attention and memory among people who play video games. That's for everyone, by the way, not just people in their 20s, which is why I think they have also linked Alzheimer's prevention to video games as well. They have also found increased activity in the frontal brain regions, which is linked to complex thinking, lower activity in visual regions, which is suggesting greater efficiency due to repeated practice. Also, to all the Karens from back in the day, there are studies that show that there is no evidence linked between heavy gaming usage and violence and aggression. So to all the mothers and the Karens of the world that blame video games for their kids being complete degenerates, no, it's just you. It's bad parenting. Another thing that I want to talk about is how we can make friends from video games. Yes, mom, strangers online that I met playing the video game and know they are not 40 years old. But in all reality, even though what I consider to be the dark times in gaming for me, when I used to just lock myself in the basement grinding Halo Reach, I met some of my best friends on that shit. Friends that I met 15 years ago playing the video game that I still talk to in today's age, being 28 years old. It's fucking nuts. Actually, I just met a friend for the first time in person in September that I've known since I was 13 years old. And like I just said, I'm 28 years old. 15-year gap right there. Absolutely insane. It's crazy to think that it actually still happened. Crazy to think that all these years have passed and he's still one of my better friends in life. I feel like this is the power of gaming in today's age. It's just connecting people. Gaming really has a way of tying people together because a lot of online games, which are the most popular ones, require cooperation with random people that you've never met. And some of those activities are hard as shit, man. Take like a Destiny 2 raid, especially a raid where no one knows the mechanics. It could be a pain in the ass teaching somebody how to actually do them or getting taught by somebody. But at the end of the day, you spend a few hours together getting through it, and at the end, you may just have a new friend to play with for future raids or just games in general. It also breaks the barrier of confrontation that we experience in the real world. Making friends in real life is hard, man, especially when you get into your 20s and 30s. High school and college are not there to hold your hand anymore, and all you have are a bunch of most likely old-ass coworkers who have a 20-year age gap on you at the minimum. Gaming allows you this quick access to other age-similar individuals who may hold some of the same values as you, which is something really quite special. This also allows introverts who may not be confident in talking to somebody in person to break that mold and talk to someone through a screen instead. I think the last thing to wrap everything I just talked about into each other would be that gaming allows your stress levels to go down, your relaxations levels to go up. Now that's if you let it. Obviously there are some games that will stress you the fuck out, horror games, rage-inducing games, etc. Now I will say, if those games stress you out, then get the fuck off them, dude. Well, unless you got like a stress kink or something, then go for it. But nonetheless, video games can give you peace of mind by allowing you to press that pause button, like I said, for a little bit and to let you just enjoy the here and now. Anyways, I feel like I've rambled on about this hard enough. Sorry if I've kind of overlaid some things. I was just kind of talking into the microphone this morning, just kind of yapping about this. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Drop a like and subscribe if you guys like this content. I say this at the end of every single video, but I make serious content, I make funny content, I make just really any sort of commentary content. So if you're into that, just go check out the channel. Maybe you'll like something on there. Also, I have a few videos cooking up. I want to make something about the Epstein files. I want to make something about Section 230 because they're trying to just bury these fucking things, and it's absolutely absurd. Society's fucking crazy right now, man. It really, really is. But other than that, I don't really have anything else. There should be some videos on the end screen here, so if you're into those, check them out. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.